Pleasing others is a strategy, not a virtue. It is often mistaken for a moral strength, but in truth, it is a mask worn by the weak to gain favor. Those who live to be liked have already chosen servitude over power. They bend their nature to the winds of opinion, reshaping their voice, their values, and even their desires to meet the expectations of others. This is not nobility, it is self-erasure. The man who constantly seeks approval becomes predictable. And what is predictable can be controlled. People pleasing is the language of those who do not understand how the world truly works. In any arena, be it politics, business, or personal relationships, the one who is most eager to please is the one most easily sacrificed. He who constantly nods in agreement is not respected, he is tolerated, he is rarely trusted, and never feared. The one who agrees with everyone says nothing. He is a shadow, not a force. When conflict arises, his voice is the first to vanish, because it never stood for anything real to begin with. The one who pleases all is loyal to none. His loyalty lies in survival, not principle. But survival without honor is slow death. The world does not reward those who are good. It rewards those who are useful, those who are sharp, those who are willing to be cold when warmth is a trap. It is better to disappoint 100 people than to betray yourself for their applause. Every time you dilute your truth to make someone else comfortable, you cut away a piece of your own power. And make no mistake, power, not popularity, determines your place in the order of things. The pleaser's curse is that his smile becomes his prison. He must keep performing, keep adjusting, keep apologizing for who he is. This performance never ends, and the reward is hollow. A man cannot breathe in a world where he is always watching himself through the eyes of others. He walks on glass, fearing offense, fearing rejection, fearing isolation. But the irony is that this fear does not protect him. It condemns him. For when people see that your value depends on their approval, they know they own you. They will test your limits, they will grow bold in their demands, they will guilt you, flatter you, manipulate your desire to be seen as kind, humble, agreeable. And you will comply, believing you are doing the right thing, when in fact, you are being shaped into something they can use. The more you give, the less you are valued. The more you yield, the more you are pressed. In time, you will not even know who you are without the feedback of others. Your sense of self will be constructed by the crowd and destroyed the moment they turn. To please is to gamble your identity on the moods of strangers. Power respects control, not kindness. The world is not moved by soft words or generous intentions. It is shaped by force, discipline, and the ability to command outcomes. Kindness, when not backed by strength, becomes a signal to predators. It tells them you can be pushed, bent, and broken without resistance. The one who leads with endless courtesy is viewed not as noble, but as naive. He becomes a tool for those with sharper minds and colder hearts. His generosity is harvested, his patience exploited, and his goodwill mistaken for weakness. The powerful do not beg to be understood. They do not wait for others to recognize their worth. They impose their presence through clarity and control. They speak less, but their words weigh more. When they act, they do so with finality. They do not ask permission to draw lines, to assert themselves, or to walk away. Control is what separates the ruler from the ruled. It is not always loud. It does not need to be. The most dangerous man in the room is often the quietest, not because he is kind, but because he knows when to strike and when to wait. Kindness is praised only when it serves the interests of others. When it ceases to be useful, it is discarded. The man who leads with kindness alone finds that his favor is temporary and his influence borrowed. As soon as he says no, the applause stops. Those who once praised his selflessness will turn on him, confused by his refusal to continue sacrificing himself. They never respected him, they only benefited from him. True respect is born not from how much you give, but from how much you can withhold without fear. Control is the armor that protects influence. Without it, kindness is a leaking cup. The more you pour out, the emptier you become. People do not follow those who are merely nice. They follow those who set boundaries, who create order, who project strength even in silence. A firm no commands more respect than 1,000 acts of generosity. A man who knows where he stands and does not move becomes a pillar, immovable, unavoidable, undeniable. When a man cannot control himself, he cannot control anything around him. His emotions rule him, his need for approval weakens him, and his actions betray desperation. The one who seeks to be liked by all becomes dependent on external validation. And in that dependence, he loses authority over his own direction. But the man who prioritizes control over his time, his words, his reactions becomes an anchor in a sea of instability. People orbit around him not because he pleases them, but because he is stable while others drift. Kindness without structure is chaos. Compassion without strength is collapse. Those who lead with softness, hoping to be rewarded with loyalty or admiration, often find themselves used and forgotten. People do not remember who made them feel good. They remember who made them feel safe, who made them feel led, who made them feel they were in the presence of something solid, something unshakable. Approval is a currency controlled by the masses, and the one who chases it becomes a slave to the crowd. He exchanges his independence for applause, his mind for mimicry, and his strength for the illusion of acceptance. To hunger for validation is to place your worth in the hands of people who are easily swayed, easily distracted, and rarely loyal. Their cheers are loud but fleeting. Their opinions shift with the winds of fashion, fear, and convenience. The man who builds himself on their praise builds on sand. The masses reward what is familiar, comfortable, and entertaining. They do not reward depth. They do not value principle unless it is packaged for consumption. A man who seeks their favor must water down his essence until nothing unique remains. He must simplify his thoughts, mask his ambition, and smile when he wants to speak with fire. He is forced to live as a shadow of himself, always adjusting to avoid offense, always bending so he is never judged. And still he is judged, still he is mocked, doubted, misunderstood, because the crowd does not truly want authenticity. They want something they can use or discard without consequence. The ruler does not seek the crowd's approval. He defines the terms of engagement. He knows that to be admired by many, he must not try to be liked by all. He must embody a presence that creates discomfort in the weak and stability for the strong. He must be indifferent to the noise and anchored in purpose. He does not explain his actions to those beneath his vision. He does not ask for permission to be decisive. He understands that the crowd has no memory, no loyalty, no center. One day they cry your name in praise, the next they spit it in contempt. The man who commands respect is not the one who tries to charm the world. It is the one who stands firm when the world demands he bow. He is calm in rejection. He does not break when he is criticized, nor does he rise too high on compliments. He is unmoved by either because he knows both are weapons when placed in the wrong hands. Praise can intoxicate and criticism can poison. But both lose their power when the man no longer needs them. Those who seek approval must keep performing. Each act must be louder, more agreeable, more tailored to expectation. The pressure never ends, and the reward is never enough. Their value is conditional, always under review. They rise only as long as they entertain or conform. The moment they assert independence, they are punished. This is the invisible contract of people: pleasing, stay useful, or be forgotten. But those who build in silence, who walk without the need to be clapped for, those are the ones who become immovable. Because they do not spend their energy trying to be liked, they spend it sharpening the mind, refining their will, and choosing when, how, and if they will be seen at all. Silence and distance are stronger than apologies. In a world that rewards emotional spectacle and verbal submission, the one who remains quiet holds the true power. Words have become cheap. Apologies, when thrown too quickly, signal fear more than remorse. They show a man trying to salvage approval rather than asserting control. The need to explain, to justify, to prove oneself, these are the habits of the weak. They expose vulnerability, and more dangerously, they reveal your position on the board. The man who speaks too much hands over his strategy. The man who is always clarifying invites others to sit in judgment. People watch not just what you say, but why you say it. If they sense your words are spoken to be accepted, they will use that against you. Your need to be understood becomes your leash. They will demand more explanations, more concessions, more humility. And with every justification, you lose ground. You become someone who seeks peace at the cost of dominance. You give others the power to validate or reject you based on how well you perform for them. Distance unsettles people. It creates mystery. It forces them to fill in the blanks with their own uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, they attribute more strength to you than you may even possess. When you do not chase them with explanations or apologies, they wonder what you know that they don't. They question their position, not yours. A single act of silence can create more tension than 1,000 spoken defenses. The powerful use silence to control the emotional tempo. They allow discomfort to build in others. They do not rush to comfort or correct. They let the silence do the work. Distance also sets boundaries without argument. When you pull back without noise, you signal detachment. Not the kind born of weakness, but the kind born of selective energy. You are telling the world you are not available for correction, persuasion, or emotional games. That absence becomes more powerful than presence. It forces others to reevaluate how they treated you, to question what they lost, and to consider your worth without your prompting. Silence and distance are weapons of those who have mastered the art of restraint. Not every slight deserves a response. Not every accusation requires a counter. When you refrain from reacting, you strip others of the power they hoped to wield over you. You deny them the drama they crave, the emotional chaos they use to gain control. Instead, you give them nothing, and in that nothing, they are forced to sit with their own reflection. Those who rush to explain themselves often dig deeper holes. In trying to clear their name, they muddy their presence. The more they speak, the less they are heard. But those who act, then fall silent, send a clearer message. They are unmoved. They are past negotiation. They do not require approval, and they do not tremble before opinion. Their silence is not surrender. It is calculation. Your mission is not to be loved. It's to be respected. Love is unstable, emotional, and fleeting. It depends on perception, and perception changes with mood, convenience, and public opinion. Those who crave love from the world find themselves bending their nature to keep it. They soften their edges, hide their ambition, and walk carefully so as not to disturb anyone's comfort. But in doing so, they become forgettable. People love the agreeable, but they obey the unshakable. They admire the charming, but they follow the one who imposes order. Respect is built on clarity. It is earned through decisions that do not ask for approval. A respected man does not concern himself with being liked. He concerns himself with being heard, being felt, being remembered. He says no when it is easier to say yes. He walks away when staying would win him applause. He is unbothered by being misunderstood because his value does not rest on others' comprehension. He understands that love makes people comfortable, but respect makes them cautious. And caution is what keeps betrayal in check. When you seek love, you become accessible. You open yourself to influence, to manipulation, to emotional games. You begin to tolerate what should be punished. You forgive what should be corrected. You listen to voices that should have no place in your mind. All in the name of being accepted, but that acceptance is a cage. The moment you fail to meet their expectations, the same people who claimed to love you will turn cold. The same crowd that praised your name will celebrate your fall. Love binds you to their terms. Respect binds them to yours. A respected man sets the terms of engagement. He speaks less, but his words echo longer. He gives little, but what he gives is taken seriously. He is not loud, but his silence makes people think twice. He does not perform to earn favor, because his presence is already a statement. The fear of losing his presence is enough to keep others in line. That fear is not terror. It is the awareness that this man answers to no one, and if wronged, he will not plead or beg. He will vanish, he will strike, or he will replace you without hesitation. Love creates an illusion of safety. People believe that if they are loved, they are protected. But love fades when it is tested. Respect survives the test. A man who is respected will be treated carefully, even by his enemies. He will be watched, not mocked. He will be warned about, not laughed at. Those who cross him will think twice before doing so again. That kind of power does not come from charm. It comes from presence, from the willingness to be alone, from the ability to act without emotional debt. To choose respect over love is to choose long-term power over short-term affection. It is to build a fortress, not a stage. It is to walk alone without fear, and to know that wherever you stand, you do so because you chose strength over sentiment. Stop chasing love, applause, and the illusion of acceptance. These are tools used to tame lions into pets. The world does not honor the agreeable, it obeys the one who stands unmoved. Let them call you cold. Let them say you've changed. That is the language of those who lost the power to control you. Stand firm in silence. Choose distance over begging. Choose respect over affection. Choose control over comfort. The moment you stop pleasing people is the moment you start ruling yourself. And the man who rules himself can never be ruled by anyone else.